Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, my name is Amma and I'm an electric skateboarder and content creator based right here in the UK. My goal for this channel is to be a resource for e-skaters through reviews, tutorials and ride videos. So if any of that interests you, smash that subscribe button and join me on this journey. I can't believe I still remember that cringe intro after not making a video for what, 6-7 months? I'm sorry I've been off this channel. So much going on in my life, but let's just put the excuse down to the weather. The weather lately in the UK has been atrocious. Let's be honest, when is it not? But with the winds, I've had a bit of snow, so much rain, it's been really difficult to get out riding and filming content. But that means that I've had a backlog of products come in. I've got different boards that I need to film reviews on. I've also got this Ultrabags Native Maxi that I really need to produce a review on. I've actually filmed something on this and I've filmed the comparison between all different electric skateboard backpacks, but I just haven't had the time to release that content, but hopefully soon. Anyway, in today's video, we're going to be unboxing and reviewing WowGo's latest invention, and that is their Pioneer X5. And this is their successor to the Pioneer X4 that's pretty much rammed with specs, rammed with power and performance, massive motors, really good sized battery. So without any further ado, this isn't going to be probably my usual style of content. Usually I like to edit things meticulously, but because I don't have much time, I'm not going to be, putting a massive amount of effort into editing this video. I'm just going to be making it as raw as possible, unboxing, going into the riding review, and then hopefully see how we go. I think one of my issues with this channel is that I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and it means I spend ages filming and editing videos, sometimes like 60-70 hours, which is just ridiculous. It's time I don't have. It's taking me away from other income streams that I've got going on, and I'm actually losing money by doing that, and that's why it hasn't really been sustainable to make content. But if I can get to a position where I just film things pretty raw, I mean, this is pretty good. I've got a really good lighting setup. I've got everything here. It just means I'm not going to be able to edit content to the style that I used to, and hopefully that will mean that I can produce content more consistently, which I think on a platform like YouTube is way more important than anything else. Consistency is king. Anyway, with that ramble over, that's probably more for my loyal subscribers that keep asking me when I'm going to release videos. Let's get into the box. Now, I say that this is going to be a raw video, but it never really is a raw video because there's so much stuff that goes on behind the scenes filming anything on YouTube. One of the things you don't usually see is me covering up any address tags on boxes. Usually I use black tape. You would have seen that in previous videos. Sometimes I just outright remove them. But obviously I don't want to reveal my home address or family's address to the internet. So yeah, I'm going to cut that bit out. So let's get into this box then. So I am expecting a double box situation going on here, which, as we always say, is brilliant because this package is coming all the way from mainland China, and that's a heck of a lot of distance to cover, and so you do want to make sure that the box, especially if you're spending quite a lot of money on this electric skateboard, is really well protected so that the board doesn't sustain any damage during shipping. Some companies, believe it or not, just ship their electric skateboards in one box. Okay. That's one side. And that's the other side. Perfect. Okay. Let me turn this round so that you guys can have a peek before me. Okay. There we go. Okay, it's been a while since I unboxed an electric skateboard. Let me tip that up. Okay, what do you guys think? Wow. Okay, flatter contour on the deck than I was expecting, although that opinion might change once I get my feet on the board. But straight off the bat, I'm really liking the minimalism of it. Really clear, simple branding, WowGo on the top right. In fact, let's just get the board out and we can take a closer look together. Oh, it is a heavy thing. CNC trucks. Oh my gosh. Okay. I can see why this board is priced at the range that it is priced at already. Okay. My finger there was just touching a front nose guard. Oh, it is a heavy board. Look at the weight. In fact, let me just quickly get the accessories out of the way. And then we can have a proper look at the board, I think. Okay. So, what we've got, a user manual. You're not going to be able to see that without light. Light would be a good idea. Stickers, as always. If you want to sticker bomb your helmet. USB-C charging cable. Cover my eyes there. Everyone should have one of these lying around by now. 2 spare belts. That's really good to see. And these are really thick belts. In my sort of experience with WowGo so far, I've never snapped a belt. I've ridden probably thousands of miles on their boards and never snapped a belt. They always seem to give you extras, which is a fantastic thing because you can never control when you're going to snap a belt. It literally just takes one rock jamming in the wrong place at the wrong time, and then it will just shear off even really good and high quality belts, and that can be really frustrating if you can't find the right size of belts. I mean, there are a lot of online businesses and companies that sell electric skateboard belts online in pretty much all the main countries where there are electric skateboard consumers: UK, US, France, Germany, whatever, Australia. But it saves you that hassle of having to find a spare, and you can be back out on the road immediately if you've got spares, which is brilliant. You also have a second USB-C cable. Not sure why they've given us 2. Okay, we've got a Y tool with all our different Allen key heads. I don't usually like to use these just because I'm always scared that they're going to start stripping the bolts on my board. I've got my own high quality Allen keys for that. We've got a standard T-tool with a spot there for another Allen key that would usually be there. I think mine's a review unit, so it's not. We've got our standard WowGo remote, although of course with the with the Hobbywing ESC, that's one of the latest Hobbywing ESCs that this board comes with, you are going to be able to pair this board up with the Tuya Smart app, I think it's called. And that will really enable quite a lot of customization, which is brilliant. We've then got our charger, and this is actually a 4 amp charger, which is great. I mean, for the size of battery on this board, which we're going to go through in a moment, it is good to have a bigger size of charger because it's going to reduce your charging time. And thank you very much, WowGo, for shipping me a UK head with the charger. X-Ray, I think, can take a lesson or two from you there. Anyway, let's put this back. I don't think the board comes with anything else. Of course, you can get... in fact, there's the Allen key that I was talking about earlier that usually comes with the T-tool. It's probably just fallen out during shipping, so let's just slot that in there so it doesn't get lost. But yeah, I mean, with boards like this, they're really modular, so if you wanted to get different wheels for it, if you wanted to get smaller wheels, 90mm wheels, 85 even, whatever really, you can purchase those either from WowGo directly or from different electric skateboard stores online. But this particular board is coming with wheels, which I'm really, really excited about, and I'm not going to spoil the fun. Let's get the board back on the table and we'll discuss the board in more detail. So, let's get this back closed. Okay. Righto. And what I'm actually going to start with, protect my nice fake marble desk, and let's flip over the board onto this polyurethane, or polystyrene rather. and have a closer look. How does that look on camera? Let's move it a bit this way. Again, this being a raw video, you're going to see a lot of what you wouldn't usually see. It would be cropped out. But do you know what? For a second, I thought these enclosures were made of metal. They give that, maybe it's just because they're really cold, but they gave that feel and they feel really robust. It's actually made of plastic, but a very, very durable plastic. I mean, you can almost hear it in my knocks here. Just underneath here, you've got a custom cut foam layer, which is basically serving as a buffer zone between the ESC and between the battery and the base or the underside of the deck itself, and that's just going to help to prevent any moisture or dirt from getting in. Now this board is going to be water resistant in any case, but as I've always said on this channel, avoid riding in the rain at all costs, even if it's just a slow ride back home in the wet after a long day of work. Avoid it if you can, jump in a cab. It's not really worth the risk of getting water into your electronics and then you being asleep at your family home and the board suddenly deciding to have a bit of a spark attack and burn down your family home whilst everyone's inside. It's never worth it. Water and electronics never mix well. And anyway, you wouldn't be covered by the warranty if you did have any water damage or water ingress. But it is water resistant, so that shouldn't really be an issue. In terms of the battery itself, so this is a Samsung battery composed of 50S cells. It's 504 watt hours in total capacity. Now that's brilliant because I remember when I had my Evolve GTX, that full size, because they had the smaller size, the travel size battery, and then the full size battery. The full size battery I remember was about 500 watts, and that was you know, for a board with all-terrain tires and all-terrain board, I would get probably 16, 17 miles out of that. And this being a street board, obviously with these wheels, they are going to suck up more battery and more juice, but that should mean a really, really brilliant range. It's a 14S 2P pack, 58.8 volts, and yeah, Samsung cells, so really high quality cells, and they're going to last you a long, long time. In terms of the ESC on this board, like I mentioned, it's the Hobbying ESC. It's actually the 14S ESC version 7. And as I mentioned as well before, this is coming with the Tura Smart app. So you can do quite a lot of customization on this. If you're not familiar with the app, have a look at one of my previous WowGo reviews on this channel where I've covered the app in detail. But pretty much you can lock the board, you can change the different you know, parameters like the power curves, things like that, the top speed, and you can add speed limits and things like that, which is really, really cool. But have a look at those motors. Oh my gosh, they are absolutely enormous. And you know what? They sort of remind me of boosted board motors in the way that they come really close together and there's not much of a sort of gap in between them, and they're really fat and thick. I'm not sure if they actually are boostable motors. I don't remember boosted motors being that big, even on the Stealth. But these are enormous, and they are, let's have a look here. I also really like these belt covers that are enclosing the entire belt. I mean, I'm getting off on a tangent here, but do you remember what I said before about rocks coming in and getting wedged into the belt and, you know, snapping your belt? Well, that's not going to happen here because as far as I can see, that belt guard is completely enclosing the belt. There's no way that you're going to get any dirt, debris, or rocks or pebbles or chips or whatever muck that you suck up from the road anywhere near the belt. So in theory, these belts should last a long, long time. The only thing that's going to wear them down is obviously just continually using them, sharp braking, sharp acceleration, things like that. But that's actually a really, really good innovative feature from WowGo. I haven't seen that before. I mean, it's probably more something that you'd see with gear drive, where you'd obviously have to have an enclosed system, especially with the you know, the lithium grease and the grease that you'd be using with that product. But yeah, this is really, really good from WowGo. Top points on that. But in terms of the motors themselves, so these are dual 2500 watt 6368 160 kV motors. So it's going to be really interesting to put these out to the test on the road and see how steep of an incline I can climb. I mean, I'm a bit of a smaller frame than I used to be. I think I weigh in at the moment at like 75, 76 kilograms without a backpack and without all my gear on. But yeah, this is going to absolutely rocket me all sorts of places, and combined with this big battery pack as well, with the board drawing all that power, this is going to be an absolute rocket. You've got here on your ESC WowGo branding, as well as WowGo branding, etched in to the battery enclosure, and then you've got your power button here. And in fact, what I should have done earlier is taken out the remote. Let me just do that now. I am going to have to crop this because this video is just going to get really long and boring otherwise. Okay, what we can do is turn the board on. We've already got full battery on the board, which, not going to lie, I don't really like to see when I'm shipped boards, because this board's probably been in storage for months and months. Actually, not this one in particular because it's quite a new board, but boards normally when you order them have been in storage for a long time. They've been produced, they've gone through the manufacturing process, and they're just sort of sitting there waiting for someone to order them. And batteries are best stored at like 60 to 70% charge. It allows the battery a bit of space to breathe. So having a fully charged battery shipped to you is not the best thing, I have to be honest. So that's speed mode 1. You know what, I'm just going to go straight to speed mode 4. Wow. And that brings us to the top speed. So the top speed is 62 kilometers per hour, which for those of us in the UK the top speed on the website is actually 55 kilometers per hour or 34 miles per hour. But this is saying that you're going to get closer to 35 miles an hour. So 35, 36 miles an hour. And it's not really a speed that I want to be approaching, especially on a street board, especially in the UK. With the quality of roads that we have here and the unpredictability of the terrible drivers that are all over the streets of Birmingham. I'm not going to be approaching that speed, but it's nice to know that you have that power at your disposal. So if you're in a bit of a tricky situation and you need to get out of trouble, overtake a bus or something like that, then you've got the speed there to do it, which is brilliant. And that sound, by the way, is amazing. I've really missed that sound. I haven't electric skateboarded for a while, I'll be completely honest with you guys. Really sharp, by the way, with that Hobbying V7 ESC. Really smooth and seamless controls. I feel like I've got really sharp, accurate controls of the acceleration and braking. You've got a good amount of play in the accelerator before it kicks in, and that's something that's really important for a board of this capability. You don't want to have a really high-speed board that packs a whole lot of punch and a whole lot of power, but that isn't easy to control. If you've watched my previous videos on EOVan, that's one thing that was a consistent sort of complaint that I had, and also that Dave had too. If you remember, which is that it's a really powerful board, but the board is only as powerful as you feel comfortable taking it, really, because if you don't feel comfortable taking it up to that speed, you're always going to be chilling and in the lower speed settings and lower speed modes. Whereas with this, it feels really controllable. You've got a bit of dead space in the remote, which is something that's really good, and then the power only kicks in a bit, sort of a couple of mil, I'd say, into pushing or putting the scroll wheel in, or engaging the scroll wheel. So that's really good to see. And then let's just quickly have a look at the trucks. So these are actually CNC trucks, and what I can see here at the front side of the trucks is WowGo have actually drilled in a couple of little holes here. I wonder if these are for accessories that they're going to be releasing soon, like lights or something. I know that I've seen that on other branded trucks as well. Now these trucks are 9.2 inch trucks, and you can actually buy this board in two different configurations. So you can either get 50-inch CNC trucks, and that's with the board that comes with ambient lighting, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I think this is that board. I can't 100% make it out, even though I've obviously had experience with the Flex Paragon, the X-Ray Flex Paragon, so I should know. It seems like this is the board with the ambient lighting surrounding it, which is a really, really cool feature, but I can't quite make out how to turn it on. Then the other option that you've got is standard Canadian maple deck and 45-inch casting trucks, whereas the CNC trucks are 50-inch, the casting trucks are 45-inch. Either way, trucks are going to be absolutely brilliant. And as I said, with a board of this caliber, you want to make sure that all the parts and components are smooth, reliable, functional, and feel safe. And trucks are a big part of that equation, bushings as well. To be honest, I always recommend you sort of ditch the bushings if you're getting this board for yourself, and stick in some rip ties. They're always going to be better than what you get out of the factory. But yeah, bushings seem pretty good. They are orange bushings, so it seems as though they're going to be on the stiffer side, especially for me. And let's just have a quick look at the ambient lighting. In fact, before we do that, let's take a look at the wheels. So these are cloud wheels, or a form of cloud wheel, I'd say, and they are really, really, really cool. So traditionally, it won't be a secret to you if you follow this channel that I'm not the biggest fan of cloud wheels. I don't really like the the minimal contact patch that you get with them. And until you really wear them in, and until you take them off-road, you're not really going to benefit from their structure, I don't think. You might benefit from pretty good range, because the contact patch that you get on them is a lot lower than, or a lot less than you'd get on a traditional street wheel. But apart from that, it feels a bit like you're electric skateboarding with high heels on your wheels. But with these are cloud wheels that are actually akin to what you'd find from Tiny, or even the X-Way Hydro wheels. Those wheels are really, really good, because they are essentially rubber. They're really good for giving you grip in wet conditions, and they don't have that dreaded minimal contact patch. It's a very large surface area here that's going to be making contact with the road and giving you that grip, sticking you onto the concrete surface. Or when you're going in off-road, all of these little grooves in the wheel are going to come into play and provide that extra stability, in wet, mud, or whatever dirty conditions. So that's these wheels. And as you can see, they are pretty nicely designed. They're 105 millimeters in diameter, 65 millimeters wide, which is brilliant, and not really spongy, I wouldn't say, but you don't really want them to be spongy. That is, of course, going to impact a bit on comfort. I mean, the softer they are, the more comfortable the ride you're going to get, but you're going to have that compromise of it draining up more battery quicker. I mean, with this board, it's not really going to be an issue. You've got a really big battery, but it's not a big issue in any event, because you've got two other things here that are going to help with the comfort of your ride. One is the deck, which is a... let's have a look here. I think it's a Canadian maple and bamboo deck. Yeah, I can't actually make out from the website, to be fair, what materials the deck is composed of, but it's probably going to be Canadian maple and bamboo, a mix of those. In any case, I've never had any issues with decks on WowGo boards, and I've had plenty on this channel, plenty that I've ridden and owned. And then the other thing, of course, that you've got to help with that comfort is the shock absorbing grip tape, and that's really going to do two things. Firstly, it's going to plant in your feet a little bit better to give you a better connection with the deck. And secondly, when you're going over those really bad road surfaces, it's going to provide that added bit of comfort. I started off this channel making videos about dope grip because I absolutely love that concept. So it's really amazing to see, and really nice to see this become sort of standard practice across the entire electric skateboard industry, really. Apart from Evolve, I don't think they're they're messing around with shock absorbing grip tape, but I do think it is, the way forward. Not very expensive to replace when it does go wrong as well. But deck itself has a really nice contour. I can see this accommodating all kinds of foot sizes. It's not aggressively, it doesn't have aggressive fins or anything like that that are gonna lock you in, as some boards would have. Like I remember some of the Meepo Shuffle boards, the first iterations of them had really sharp and aggressive fins at the edges that would lock you in, but that took a lot of getting used to. This board has a more subtle concave, but there's definitely a concave there. the deck does contour a bit, and it should allow for really comfortable foot position. Obviously I can only test that once I'm standing on the thing, which is going to be a little bit later in this video. Now, you know what, the more I look at this Pioneer X5, the more I think this is the iteration with the ambient light, because the other thing, of course, is that I've got CNC trucks here, and the option of having CNC trucks is going to come with that ambient lighting. Now, I just need to figure out how to turn it on. So if I have a bit of a fiddle with this remote, if I triple click, wow, okay, that didn't take long. So it's just a double tap of the power button to turn that on and off. Okay, now this looks a lot brighter to me than it does on camera, and simple reason for that is because this is IRL, and you guys are you know, seeing this with a really low ISO. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn off my main key light here, and then hopefully you'll get a better view of this. Oh, this is pretty cool. Should we just continue the video like this? But have a look at that. That is super cool. Now, this isn't like the X-Ray Flex Paragon, in that you don't have control over this lighting. I mean, you've got control obviously of turning it on and off, but you don't have control of which color you want it. You can't really control, although I can see it pulsing at the moment, so I think that's its natural position. What I do want to test is if it has got a brake light. Right, okay, really interesting. So no brake light, but the rear portion of the deck where you've got the lighting flashes when you engage the brake. So very, very good safety feature, actually. I mean, it would be nice to see that flash in red, but that would cost WowGo a heck of a lot more to do. But in terms of comparing this to the X-Ray Flex Paragon, it's really cool to have this feature, to be honest. It's going to really help with visibility during nighttime riding, and it will help with overall coolness of the board, if I can say that. It will make you look far cooler when you're sort of shooting across your town. Everyone's going to be staring at you anyway because you're on an electric skateboard and people aren't used to it. But with a board like this and lights surrounding you like this, you're literally going to be the star of the town. But like I say, you can't control the you know, shade of the light. You can't control which light it is, what kind of modes it does, what kind of pulsing modes it can do, as you can with the X-Ray Flex Paragon. But that board costs a heck of a lot more. And you know, it costs a lot of money to do that as well. So yeah, this is really, really cool, and I can't wait to put this to the test, especially now, winter time here in the UK. It's really the ideal time because come 4 o'clock, it's already starting to get dark, and I am starting to get lazy these days when I'm riding. I'm not really wearing an enormous amount of lights, shred lights and things like that. So yeah. I think that's all for this part of the video. What I now propose to do is get kitted up. Actually, I've got another board to unbox. That's going to be a different video, so I'm going to do that now whilst I've got all my kit set up, because it's so hard to find free time these days. And then I'm going to take this board out and pop that portion of the video after this. And yeah, that will be my riding review. So let's cut to that now. All right then, guys. So we're out on the WowGo Pioneer X5. And as you can see, I'm fully kitted up, and for long-time viewers of the channel, you'll know that I only really wear this motorcycle jacket and my full face when I've got a lot of power under my feet, and today is one of those days. The WowGo Pioneer X5 is an absolute monster of a thing, and it literally has so much acceleration, so much power, so much torque, that I can seriously hurt myself, and that's why I'm not really taking any chances, especially today. Actually, back there was a bit worse. I was sort of considering going back and ending this ride. I might end up doing this ride in 2 stints. A stint now just to show you what the lights are like, you know, the ambient lighting when it's you know, nighttime. It's currently approaching sunset here in Birmingham, and then I might actually go back out when it's a bit drier to push this board really to its limits and see what the wheels are like to carve and stuff, because it is a little bit wet all over, and I'm an adrenaline junkie. I can't really stop myself from not carving and stuff. So yeah, got to be careful. What's this guy saying? God is love. God is love indeed. Love God and every problem in your life will be fixed. That's not going to put an end to my fun today, the little bit of wet. I'm going to see how far I can take this thing. All right, let's go left here and I'll show you guys a bit of a closer up on this board. So I'm only in gear mode 3 because, to be honest, I did put it in gear mode 4 earlier on. Let's let this guy cross. And it's just too much torque. In fact, I'll put it in gear mode 4 now, lean forward, because we're going up a bit of an incline. And oh my gosh, that's 23, 26 already. Mind you guys, I'm going uphill, okay? 27, 28, 29, 30. Watch this pothole. That is insane, guys. Literally insane. And that's thanks to the dual 2500 watt motors that I fitted onto this board. I'm actually going to drop the speed mode back down to 3 just so I feel a little bit more comfortable with the throttle, because the throttle is really responsive. Thanks to that, I think it's version 7, Hobbywing ESC, really, really responsive throttle. And you know, if you're not careful, if you're not, you know, you're not balanced correctly, and if you've got too much weight towards the back of the board, and you get a bit excited with that throttle, you're coming straight off the back of this thing. But one thing I want to say actually is I'm quite surprised at the, you know, how well this board carves, given those super wide trucks that are fitted onto it. Let's overtake this traffic here. Really fun board, really fun. Not as agile, of course, as other boards with those really wide trucks, but nonetheless, you know, it will get you by. And I'm not sure what we're going to do here. I think I might carry on straight once I've got a green light, and that's the beauty of electric skateboards. I've just filtered through all of that traffic there, and I was straight at the front of the queue. So coming through Moseley Village now. This isn't really an area of Birmingham I ride through much. Be careful here. Bit more filtering. I've breathed those carbon monoxide fumes straight in. Again, this is going to be one of the videos where I'm not going to be doing much editing, so you're going to be seeing quite a raw run. Pretty much what my electric skateboard ride would normally look like. And yeah, sorry that you can't see much of my face with this full face helmet. I'm just not taking any chances. I do have the Nobleman Tech TKO2. I was debating actually just before I left the house whether to wear that one or this one, but I think I feel better about a full face helmet that has a fixed chin piece and not one that can come off. You know, it just didn't fill me with confidence, that thing. I haven't used it in quite a while. I might actually have to go back and do an updated review, because, you know, I'm all about honesty on this channel, and you know, if it's not something that I'm really using, is it going to wait for me? Thank you very much. Yeah, I should probably go back and update that review, to be honest. Okay, so speed mode 3. And have a look at those lights as well. You know, I'm not wearing any other lights on any part of my body, which is not a very wise thing to do. I should probably be wearing shred lights. I've got plenty at home that are just need charging. But you can see how much brighter they are than the X-Way Paragon lights. You know, the X-Way Paragon lights are awesome. And if you haven't seen my review of the X-Way Paragon, make sure you go and check that out. But with those lights, just flip you guys around. they're really cool because you can choose any color of the rainbow. You can even choose really cool preset lighting patterns. I think you might even be able to make your own light patterns, but they're not that bright, especially in the daytime. Whereas these seem to be much brighter. The the ambient lighting on the WowGo Pioneer X5, much brighter, and especially for nighttime riding, that's exactly what you want. There's not much point in having lights on your board apart from that additional cool factor if it's not going to make you more visible to traffic around you. So yeah, really bright lights, and looks really cool as well. It's a bit of a shame that you can't change the color of the lights, but we'll take what I'm given. Okay, he's going to pull out there, of course, because this is a beamer. To be fair, I would have pulled out there as well. Okay, no traffic behind me, which is good. I'm just really getting comfortable with the board, getting comfortable with the wheels. These are, of course, the new Hydro-like wheels that are on this board, and they're very grippy. They're not massively spongy, they're not that soft, to be honest. But that's partly because they're literally fresh out the box, and partly because they're not supposed to be, soft rubbery wheels like you get on the Onzras, the black calves and stuff, because that will just zap your range. You'll really chew through your battery, if you had wheels like that. Although, it would be great for comfort, but this board compensates with its comfort with its bamboo and fiberglass deck. And then, of course, as with most electric skateboards that are of this sort of form factor, you do, of course, benefit from that shock-absorbing grip tape too, and that's really going to help not only to lock your feet in a bit more when you're going over bad road surfaces like I have been doing for the past 5 minutes, but also it'll give you that extra bit of grip, an extra bit of shock absorption that will hopefully mean you get less foot fatigue. At the moment, I've got a heck of a lot of hand fatigue. I've chosen a not very good day to do this because I've had arm days pretty much back to back at the gym the last couple of days, and my arm is aching from holding this selfie stick rig that I've got going on. The road's improving a bit here, so I'm going to open up this board a bit more in terms of getting used to carving it. I quite like that in speed mode 3, even though I'm pretty much on a full battery there, the pick up and go is brilliant, but the top end of it is, WowGo have limited that. So obviously these are things that you can adjust within the app in any case. But like if you wanted speed mode 3 to keep climbing up and up and up until the board, to be fair, that's what it will do anyway. It will eventually get to its top speed even in gear mode 3, but towards the top end of gear mode 3, like that's the throttle fully engaged, and I'm going 22, still saying 22 miles an hour. I almost think there's a speed limiter going on there within gear mode 3. But if you see here, if I push it up to speed mode 4, all of a sudden I've unlocked a heck of a lot more speed. And see, it just went up to 26 there. So that's why almost fell off there. Pothole. It's situations like that, by the way, why you want a really torquey board. I just pulled out into the road there, and before I knew it, that car was on my tail, and I had to sort of get out of there. I had to accelerate pretty quickly, and if I had a slower board, that could have led to a pretty dangerous situation where that car would have had to emergency brake or swerve or something, and swerve into potentially other traffic. Oh yes, this is what carving at 32 miles an hour looks like. This is an absolute blast. Okay, I'm not usually a speed demon, but if the thing's under my feet and I'm well protected, then I'm definitely going to go for it. I've got to say though, I do feel a bit of a false sense of security with all of this gear on. I should never feel too comfortable and too safe. Doesn't matter, you could be wearing all the gear in the world. I'm wearing my hillbilly gloves, I'm wearing my motorcycle jacket, full face helmet, knee pads, but you know, if I fall the wrong way, I can still end up seriously hurting myself. So yeah, 30 miles an hour, carving, chilling. Doesn't get much better than this, guys. And the board feels really stable. It is going to feel stable anyway with the width of those CNC trucks, and I don't feel for a second that, you know, those CNC trucks are going to let me down, give way, snap or anything. They're built solid as a rock. I don't really know where I am, where I'm going, just enjoying the thrill of the ride. And I quite like that I've come here because these are roads that I've never ridden before. I just touched the throttle there and there was a bit of oomph. See, if I wasn't leaning forwards, that would have probably chucked me off. Let's get into the bus lane here. Let this Merc overtake us if he wants to. So yeah, a lot of torque on this thing. Dual 2500 watt motors, that's what's powering it. And a big battery that's claiming, I think, 22 miles of range. Top speed, WowGo is saying 34 miles an hour, but I've already been up to 35. And the board was still going up, so you could probably get it, you know, to go even faster. And I think I was actually even going up a slight incline when I hit 35. So, you know, no shortage at all of power on this board. I think I'm going to go left here and see where it takes me. Yeah, let's try that. It's by Southern City, I think it's called, College. I love these roads. Smooth asphalt, you literally can't ask for much better. But unfortunately, they never seem to last long. Approaching 4 o'clock, by the way, so the roads are pretty busy and I've got to be careful with traffic pulling out, people coming out of their houses to collect their kids or whatever. Okay, I think I've got a rough idea of where we are. I'm going to have to bring you guys back up here again so I can rest my selfie stick against my stomach because it's way too heavy. Okay. It'd be quite nice to see WowGo, Meepo, you know, Tiny and all these brands which are so popular in the e-skate industry come out with, you know, different variations of remotes, because they all pretty much exclusively rely on scroll wheel remotes like these. We all know what Evolve's R2 and Hadian remotes and whatever remotes they call them now are like in terms of their unreliability, in terms of their disconnection issues and stuff. But you know, if I can't believe how fast I'm going, by the way. I'm going uphill and I'm going like 31, 32 miles an hour. But anyway, side point, I want to see these brands come out with you know, remotes that are throttle based, so with an acceleration throttle, or acceleration trigger, and then a brake trigger at the top, because some people prefer that. And as much as I've got to say about Evolve skateboards, you know, in the few years that I had their GTX and then their GTR series boards, and you know, that I rode the Stoke and stuff, I did really like that remote. I just didn't like how you know, poorly built it was, and didn't like the thought that if I dropped it once it could potentially throw me off and have disconnection issues. But it would be nice to have that option on these boards, because some people actually have a lot more control with that. And the reason I say that too is because with this you know, scroll wheel style remote with 4-finger gloves, you don't always get the best connection between remote and glove. Whereas if I had my Evolve, say R2 remote, or if I had a trigger style remote like that, I could probably feel a lot more in tune with the remote. It does take a bit of getting used to if you're not used to it, in terms of, you know, having that separate acceleration at the bottom of your finger and then the braking, you know, being operated by your thumb. It does take a bit of getting used to, but you know, it'll probably give you more control. So I don't think it'll be a big issue for, you know, these brands to produce that as an optional extra, or even as an option that you can purchase. My face is absolutely freezing. It's like 6 degrees Celsius in Birmingham right now, and that just makes it all the more impressive that this board can, you know, perform so well. I'm not really doing a range test, of course. If I were to be doing a range test, it wouldn't be very fair. Batteries never perform very well when the weather is cold, but you know, to have this level of torque in this weather is brilliant. You know, because of course, if you want to be able to unlock a board's top performance, you're going to have to, you know, have the battery cells nice and warm, and the battery operating well and operating at its capacity. I am just going to put you guys behind me here, give you an angle of me coming down this little stretch. I think this guy wants to overtake us. Let's let him do that. Thank you for waiting for me. Okay, back the way we came from then. And let's come over this. Okay, learner driver, I don't want to scare them. Probably did. Just want to see how these wheels fare over all of this bad tarmac. And in fact, they're doing a great job. I mean, I don't want to go over them at 30 miles an hour, but yeah, the wheels are really nice, quite grippy. Thank you for stopping. Quite grippy, big enough to go over potholes and stuff, but equally not spongy enough that they're gonna zap my range, and I can still have plenty of fun on this thing. Smaller wheels would feel even crazier on this board because you know, physics would dictate that I'd have a lot more torque with that sort of wheel diameter, and I think these are 105 mil if I'm not mistaken, so actually better for top speed. And then with those dual 2500 watt motors and the battery output on this board as well, you know, I've got plenty of torque as is, so I can go for bigger wheels. One tip actually I've got for you guys as well is, if you know, don't follow cars too closely like I'm doing now, because it leaves you very little time to actually react. Like if there's a let's just hold my selfie stick properly here, but if I'm following that car ahead of me way too closely like I was a moment ago, you know, a car can go over any pothole there is without any issues, but if you spot that pothole too late, you're going straight into it. There's no way you can go to avoid it. So it's wise to leave a bit of space between you and you know, cars in front of you. And the other thing is, if that car has to emergency brake for whatever reason, or if that car crashes, then you're going straight back into him, and you're going to be part of that crash and part of that you know, mess. Little brake test there, very sharp brake, really sharp brake actually. Let's carry on straight. I'm actually going to see if I can overtake this guy safely. Can't do that at the moment. You see, that's what I mean. See where he just braked there, because that delivery driver just opened his passenger door, opened his driver's side door. If I was, you know, tailgating this car, I would have been right in the back of it. Please don't go, thank you. Yeah, so this is where these lights now are coming in really handy. The ambient lighting surrounding the board. I'm not wearing any lights on my body whatsoever, so you know, having these bright lights are really helping road users to see where I am, judge my speed, judge if they can pull out of a junction or something. So yeah, brilliant feature. Definitely, if you're you know, unsure whether you want to go for the WowGo Pioneer X5 with the ambient lights fitted or not, and if it's literally, you know, if that extra I don't know, I think it's a couple of $100 isn't too much of an issue for you, I would just literally go for it. And of course, with that Pro package, you get the CNC trucks too, which are wider, which are much more stable as well. Of course, they're not going to be as maneuverable as the other set of trucks, but still plenty maneuverable. You could always have looser trucks, but you know, the minute you travel a bit faster than you're comfortable with, or you know, if you're going downhill and your brakes aren't, I just had a bit of a slide there, I'm not sure if that was captured, but that's not fault of the board, that's just me sharply braking because this Mercedes pulled out right in front of me, and also the conditions of the road as well. But what I was saying was, yeah, you'd always rather have, I think, less maneuverability, more stability, as opposed to more carvability and less stability. I don't really want to be sandwiched between these cars and the bus, so we're going to stay right behind it. And let's take a left here. Oh yes. And you know what? I can hear the board as well, just screaming. It's eager to go. I'm literally carving uphill at 33 miles an hour. This is absolutely brilliant. And you know what? For a board of this price point as well, you know, it's coming in at about $1,000 with the CNC trucks and with the lights. I think it's a very good price point, and you get that 9-month WowGo warranty with it as well. You know, there's not too much I can say bad about this board, guys. It would be nice if you could customize the lights a bit. I've probably been a bit spoilt by X-Ray there, but then the lights compensate by being a lot brighter than the X-Ray Paragon lights, and brightness probably wins in that equation because it's all about safety at the end of the day. Of course, it's cool to have cool looking lights, but it's about safety. Alright guys, so I've waited until it's gotten a little bit darker just to show you guys how bright these lights really get. They are way brighter than the X-Ray Flex Paragon lights, and I absolutely love that. Of course, it's not gonna defeat the need for you wearing lights on your helmet and stuff and lights on your upper body, but I don't think this board needs any more lights on it, because as you can see here, if I were to engage the brake, I've got brake lights as well, pretty much. I mean, it would be nice if they were red, but that flashing is more than enough to show traffic around me that I'm coming to a stop or that I'm slowing down. I'll do it again for you guys just there, because I do need to brake anyway. But yeah, I think brilliant implementation of lights that WowGo have done here. You know, really cool, really bright. It's literally glowing up the ground. Glowing up the ground, can I even say that? You know, it's lighting up the ground all around the board. It's not gonna let me see, really. It's just more about being seen. You know, it's not shining on any potholes ahead or anything. That's why I'd still recommend you have like a shred light SL1000 fitted to your helmet. But really cool light, looks brilliant. Bit of a shame, like I've said, that you can't change the color of the light, but you know, more than makes up for that with the power of the light. Yeah, I don't have much more to say about this board. WowGo have absolutely amazing customer service. You know, my friend's been a recipient of that firsthand. Price is great, board looks great, it feels absolutely fantastic under the feet, amazing range. You know, I think I've done at the moment 10 miles, and board is giving me 3 bars left of juice. So obviously it's not a very fair way to do a range test, because you can't exactly just double your you know, your mileage and expect you're going to get the same amount of you know, in the same amount of battery, because conditions will change. But in this weather, that's brilliant. That means that this board might actually live up to that, you know, 22 miles range, probably closer to like 19 to 20 miles in total. So yeah, great range, absolutely amazing power and top speed. No issues at all with top speed, in fact. So if you're a speed demon, this will definitely be one for you. Great feel in terms of carving, you know, amazing stability with the trucks. Literally, you know, if you're on the fence about this thing, just go for it. It's a brilliant deal. Can't really think of anything bad to say about it. And yeah, I think I'll leave it there, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment and subscribe if you did. I'm quite liking actually these raw style videos where I'm not having to do much editing. It means I can produce more content for you guys. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.